Welcome back here on the main stage at the Food Exchange. I'm a new face today. My name is Grace. I'm here from Enterprise Nation, and I'm really delighted to be hosting the TSB Bank panel session here at the Food Exchange. I hope you had a great break, got a refresh of coffee, grabbed your lunch, and back with a clean slate on your notepad to take down some great notes. We're joined here by the lovely TSB, who are one of our proud sponsors of the Food Exchange. So a massive thank you to them. And we will be discussing how to get the best start for your food business here today. So I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Oskar from TSB Bank. Oskar is the Senior Business Development Manager, and the lovely Jenny, who is Chief Executive Officer at Good Business Charter as well. So thank you both so much for joining us today. Jenny, I'm going to come to you as our guest speaker. If you'd like to give a bit more of an introduction to our audience and a bit more about your experience as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Grace. So my name's Jenny. I run the Good Business Charter, which was set up and launched in 2020. Idea of Julian Richer, entrepreneur, but really he brought the CBI and the TUC together to develop an accreditation scheme about responsible business behaviour. Over 10 components. One of those is all about the environment and sustainability, but there's also 5 around employees. You've got tax, customer commitment, ethical sourcing, and prompt payment for suppliers. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you a bit this afternoon about how that can work for the businesses in the room.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenny. And Oskar, it's great to have you back. If you can let everyone know a bit more about your role at TSB and your experience as well, that'd be fantastic.
Super. Thanks, Grace, and welcome everyone. Great to be back at another exchange series, and we're really proud to be part of the series and I guess broader partnership with Enterprise Nation. I guess a bit about myself. So my role at TSB is to work alongside the rest of the business banking team to deliver services, support, and proposition, which is timely and relevant to the small businesses, businesses like yourselves. And on a daily basis, I have the pleasure of working with a lot of our partners, including Enterprise Nation, who deliver timely and focused support to our not just our customers, but small businesses across Britain. We're very proud to be partnered with Enterprise Nation for the best part of 5 years now, and continuing to provide support to sort of SMEs and small business across Britain. And obviously joined today by Jenny, which I'm really glad about. Was really keen for I guess you guys to find out a bit more about Good Business Charter and why TSB is actually has been accredited by Good Business Charter. So I'm sure we'll cover that in a little while.
Wonderful. Thank you so much both for the lovely introductions. And again, it's great to have you here. And we will be doing a nice Q&A. So just a nice reminder to our audience who are joining us here in the main stage, do drop your questions in and let us know how we can support you here today. But also make sure you jump over to the TSB Bank Expedition as well. And you can find out some more information as well. So Oskar, I'm going to come to you for my first question. And I think I'd love to start off this session on how does TSB support their business customers with offers and guidance. And I was wondering if we can maybe tailor this question more towards maybe food and drink businesses who are starting off. So I'd love to hear a bit more about that.
Sure, absolutely. I guess in terms of services and guidance, we're always working to provide businesses with the support they need. We join these types of sessions to listen what businesses are telling us and sort of take that verbatim and go away and make sure we deliver the services proposition that actually complements and supports their business. And it's a two-way conversation, and we're here to listen. That's why one of the reasons why we're here today is to hear that feedback. We quite recently actually been partnering with quite a lot of other companies on providing services to our customers. So it's not, we don't just do everything ourselves. We do rely on sort of other businesses to help us provide services to our customers. I think the latest initiative is actually our partnership with a fintech called Bankify, who offer our customers opportunity to take advantage of request to pay functionality. And that may sound very banking like, but actually for everyday business, it's we understand how important, from what business has told us, is to get paid on time. Cash flow is king, and getting paid on time allows you to run your business and grow your business. Request to pay offers our customers opportunity to send payments via text, WhatsApp, invoices via text, WhatsApp, emails, even QR codes to be put on the invoice, and their customers effectively can click on the link they receive from our customer, and via open banking they can get taken straight to their respective mobile app for whichever bank they bank with, and they just press submit on the payment. They don't have to worry about inputting any account details, any invoice references. It's all populated based on the information that our customers have put into the Bankify app. So it gives our customers opportunity to take advantage of the app, get paid on time, take some of the burden away from getting paid on time, because often our customers are single entity in their company, so there's just simply not enough time to get everything done, and we know how important cash flow is. So making those perhaps mundane tasks and often the burden a little bit easy for our customers frees up more time for them to spend on what they're doing the best and what they love doing the most, which is running their business. Beyond that, we also offer our customers opportunity to dip into our business talk, which is our business support hub, where we host a whole host of topics, information on how to start, how to run, how to grow your business. We've collected information from sort of leaders across the industry in terms of business support, including Enterprise Nation, and included that on our business talk hub. So that's I guess in summary what we have been doing of late for businesses. Obviously our services and guidance stretches far beyond that. We've got great channels. We don't just operate online. I know it's very convenient for a lot of businesses to do things online, but if things ever go wrong, they can always phone up our business banking centre, which is based in Edinburgh, or go into one of our many branches across the UK.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that great answer. That's really useful to know. And as you said, it's really about making those maybe daunting tasks a little bit easier, and especially for people, for entrepreneurs who are, a one-man band at the moment and need to get those critical stages done. That's really great. So thank you so much, Oskar, for giving us a bit more of an overview of how TSB can support. But Jenny, I'm going to jump to you. And I'd love to hear a bit more about how Good Business Charter came about. I know you did a really brief introduction earlier on, but I'd love you to maybe go a bit more into how this organization can support, and maybe why was streamlined version of accreditation developed in the first place. If you'd like to touch on that, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. So Julian Richard will tell you that he is a small entrepreneur because he's 5'6", but he, once upon a time, he started as just selling hi-fis when he was at school, and from there he built up his business. So, and I think he really remembers what it was like to be in those very early days, issues like cash flow, all these different things, and the importance of people paying him on time, and him being able to treat people well. And so he has built up his business on ethical capitalism, on really treating people well, because ultimately if we treat our employees well, they will serve their customers better. Of course they will. It isn't actually just the right thing to do. It will make you more productive as a business if you do that. So first of all, he's really felt from the very beginning of the Good Business Charter, he wanted it to work for businesses of all sizes and sectors. And in fact, he wanted it to work for charities as well. So he really launched it in that way, brought the CBI and the TUC on board. Yes, a lot of their contacts are the big guys, but we were really passionate from the very beginning. When we launched just before the pandemic, we saw lots of small businesses joining. One of those, Greenwich Pantry in London, they are just a really passionate organisation that's just embedding the Good Business Charter in what they do. So then towards the end of that first year, we worked with the Federation of Small Businesses, and we said, you know what, we really want you to believe in what we're doing so that you can champion it to all the small businesses, because they're the ones, make up the huge majority of businesses in the UK. And they said to us, well, we need it to be more streamlined. I'm like, well, it's pretty straightforward as it is. However, that said, in the diversity and inclusion component, there's quite a lot around gender pay gap, ethnicity pay gap, which isn't relevant for small business. And the environmental stuff, it's just going to be different. So we worked with them, and it was just such a great partnership, because when we launched in January 2021, we launched something that is just so much more accessible for your smallest business. And it's been brilliant to see sole traders lead, come and join us, small businesses from all different walks of life who are saying, right, I'm starting up a business and I want to start it up on the right framework. And the Good Business Charter provides me with that framework to do that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Well, first of all, great definition, but great understanding of how a Good Business Charter can support. And Jenny, I was actually going to ask, how is it making a difference, would you say, to the lives and the journeys of a small business? And I know you touched, obviously, it is about doing the right thing, the ethical thing. Do you have any examples you could share with us on how it is, what you've seen and how it is making a difference?
Yes, I think the one area is definitely about wages. So a business is starting up and they're thinking, we want to do business well. Perhaps they're particularly focused, particularly for food and drink businesses, they're focused on the sustainability side. And the Soil Association is one of our members, and they do amazing work around looking at this area of making sure that what you are sourcing is sustainable. But actually, what about when you start and you need to recruit 1 or 2 members of staff? And I think we've seen organisations that we want to do this well. And what does that look like? And they may think, well, it's quite easy for an employee to have a voice when you've only got 2 or 3. But let's start, especially in this sector, food and drink, a sector that historically people are paid low wages. Historically, there are insecure work as well. So we've seen organisations say, no, we are going to, from the beginning. And the reality is, if from the beginning you pay the real living wage, which at the moment is £9.90 outside of London, if you do that from the beginning, it's in place and it's embedded in your budget, and it's part of the model. You don't have to, some of the big organisations like, how are we going to pull people up to this? But if you start that, and of course at the moment in a tight labour market, if you're able to just pay that bit extra, and also really to show we are a Good Business Charter, we've got Good Business Charter accreditation, you're more likely to recruit good staff and retain them. And so that's a really key area where we've seen businesses able to retain staff and show how they're different. I think that's it, isn't it? How they're different. We've got some breweries involved as well, and for them to be able to put our accreditation on their website and show we don't just care about all this stuff, we've got this framework, and prompt payment to suppliers is one of our 10, so which the small businesses love, because actually we're hopefully going to change behaviour for all sizes of business, including those big guys that don't always pay you on time.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jenny, for elaborating on that. And I think it's really good to start thinking of these things, even if, our attendees on the line are, just starting out, but in that growth space as well, where they are bringing in employees, bringing on extra support. It's good to make sure that you're starting off on a clean slate and making sure moving forward there's no complications. So that's really good to know. And we will be adding in a few links into the chat where you can find out a bit more about Good Business Charter as well. So make sure you stay tuned. But Oskar, I'm going to jump back to you. I'd actually want to talk a bit more about trends. I think, when it comes to different sectors of business, it's keeping up with those trends, keeping up with those themes, and making sure that you're really engaged with your target audience. So I'd love to hear maybe your perspective on what trends you've seen amongst small businesses on the back of the pandemic, especially. I know we're still on the virtual screen, but we're hoping to come back in person. And what steps do TSB take to make sure that they're supporting these areas?
Sure. Yeah. Great question. And I guess a lot to cover in quite short amounts. So I'll try and sort of maybe cover the main areas that perhaps we've seen. And we've got a great sort of track record in terms of sort of conducting research on annual basis, sometimes more often. And the most recent piece of research we've published is called How to Recover Report, and does exactly what you described, Grace. It's I guess describing the sentiment of small businesses on the back of the last 2 years, and also identifying areas where they've recovered and perhaps other areas where some support is still required. So I guess there's kind of 3 main areas that have come out as a result of that research. Firstly, no surprise, digital. adopting digital skills and tools needed to address gaps, and productivity has been a huge benefit to many small businesses over the last year. A lot of them embraced digital, and they've never done so before, but they were effectively forced to do so for the business to continue operating, and in a lot of cases, thriving actually on the back of adopting digital. So automating marketing, accounting, making remote working a reality through digital collaboration tools, exactly what we're doing here today, right now. All that has been on the back of pandemic, and these businesses have embraced it. A lot of those, like I said, have thrived as a result. Over the year, to unlock the new revenue streams, undoubtedly small businesses are going to need to have greater access to advice, especially for those that perhaps haven't dipped their toes into digital space as much, and service which can provide them with confidence that they can be more digital. Often it's about taking that first step, and the rest will just follow. But it's just dipping your toes and really giving it a go, really. Secondly, I guess sustainability, and that's no surprise. We all heard of the noise surrounding COP26 at the back end of last year, and let's face it, a lot of it was around big corporate companies, perhaps like TSB. But behind the headlines, we know that it's Britain's small businesses who are pressing to find their own way forwards, and like you already mentioned, often operating a single man business there is enough time in the day to look at all those aspects, including sustainability. So it's really about meeting, perhaps raising customer consideration for sustainability. A lot of customers are a lot more considerate of sort of sustainable businesses, how sustainable are the service they're using, and our customers need to meet the demand of their customers of becoming more sustainable. So again, taking that first step in terms of sustainability, access to tools, access to advice, explaining difficult terminology around sustainability. There's so many new words that have seemed to have sort of surfaced over the last sort of 18 to 24 months around sustainability, and our customers are telling us they need help understanding where to start and what's that starting point. What we've been doing in terms of sustainability, just quickly touching on it in a bit more detail, is our customers have been finding it particularly useful to track their carbon footprint, and we've actually partnered with another business to offer our customers opportunity to track their carbon footprint through an app called Kogo. It's available to anyone on the App Store. You don't actually have to bank with TSB to download. It's available to anyone, and what offers you a straightforward opportunity to help track your carbon footprint by syncing your current account with the app. And what it does, it analyzes your spend on your account and translates it into carbon footprint. Effectively, it tells you how much carbon footprint have you generated based on your grocery shopping or your bills. And that's the kind of first step, is the understanding. And within the app, there's also opportunities to offset your carbon. So Kogo work with a number of charities who offer opportunity to offset it. But I guess that's perhaps the next step. First step really is to understand what impact are you having. And we obviously proudly sponsor Planet with Purpose campaign with Enterprise Nation. We've been, obviously, like I said, a partner with Enterprise Nation for 5 years. We've supported some great agendas, and we recognise that sustainability is becoming greater and greater agenda on everyone's minds, and we've partnered with Enterprise Nation and Aviva to really drive sustainability and make that push with the government to provide better support to small businesses in terms of sustainability, provide small businesses with a number of tools, content, events, also focused on sustainability and aimed at small businesses, not big corporate companies, which a lot of programs have been so far. And I guess finally, and perhaps most crucially, is the importance of the growth mindset. That hasn't gone away. It's still there, and it's great that it's still there, because like I said, a lot of businesses have continued to thrive. I've been very inspired by small businesses we've been speaking to over the past year or so, and rather than waiting for help, what they've actually done is they face down the challenge head on, which is very encouraging, and help themselves to quite simply get on with it and not wait for someone else to help them. They yet again overcome the challenges that they were facing, and it's built a huge amount of resilience across small business sector, and I'm sure that will continue to benefit our customers and other small businesses for years to come. So I guess those are kind of the key trends and takeaways. But any questions?
No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Oskar. And just jumping back to what you said about TSB and Aviva, who are actually both sponsors of the Exchange series and the Food Exchange here today, have come together to deliver Planet with Purpose. Like you said, really touching on sustainability within business and all business, including the food and drink sector. So we'll make sure that we'll pop a link in the chat as well for everyone to find out a bit more. But no, those are some great trends. And like you said, that you have seen across, small businesses from the back of the pandemic. But just a question on top of that, Oskar, do you think that small businesses are using them well? These current trends, or are there any other trends that you think or have seen that have been thriving? And Oskar, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, but Jenny, if you've got anything to add on to that as well.
Yeah, I think it does. There is no one size fits all, I guess, answer to this. There's every business is different. We need to understand that there's on the back of pandemic, a lot of businesses are already faced into another crisis of cost of living, and they don't just have to face into as a business owner. They also have to face into as a personal, as an individual. So it's almost kind of one thing after another. So the challenges, the kind of a shock landscape for businesses continues to be challenging, but the outlook is positive, and for those businesses that, like I said, have embraced digital, have begun to seek advice, and haven't kind of sat back and waited to see what happens. They actually actively gone out, attended events like this to seek advice, seek perhaps inspiration from other businesses, and perhaps look to apply what worked well for someone else. It's often about learning from other peers and connecting, networking, and finding out exactly what perhaps has worked for someone else that has been in my situation 6 months ago, and maybe giving that a go. It's these sort of businesses that we've seen really go on and thrive and begin to really recover from the pandemic, and even work their way through what we're experiencing now, which is cost of living.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Oskar. And Jenny, I was going to see if you've got anything to jump on after Oskar on that, or any comments or advice that you'd like to share.
I think it's interesting. We saw some businesses totally repurpose in the pandemic, because this is the wonderful thing about a small business; it can pivot so well. And suddenly, when what they were giving as a bakery now had to close, and they started selling out wholesale flour or something instead. So they really pivoted well, which is great. Sadly, we have seen some that have had to wind up, but it's just been such an interesting time, hasn't it? Because a lot of entrepreneurs have taken that time to think, actually, this is my moment to set up and do something new. And I think it's really exciting. Just echo that word about community, really. We set up just to be a simple accreditation scheme, but actually what we found is that because we have 1,000 members and the vast majority of those are small, there's a real community feel, and they are now learning together. How do we grow as a good business? How do we face these challenges? And one thing we would love to do is then have some of our bigger members, including Aviva and TSB, which are both GBC accredited, but have some of them guide our small members on some of the different areas. So I think I couldn't speak highly enough about the importance of connecting with one another and being in it together, and together we will be able to show that being a good business is the right way forward.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to jump to some questions we've had come in from the audience. As I'm aware, we only have around 5 minutes left, and obviously we want to make sure we get as many questions as we can answered. But if we don't have time to answer your questions, not to worry. Like I said, TSB have got their exhibition stand where you can actually have a direct link to what they've got to offer today. So make sure you check out all the expedition stages as well. But I'm going to dive into my first question. And Johnny is saying, what can small businesses do to stay on top of their finances? So Oskar, I'm going to come to you for this one, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I think what we've learned a lot over the last 2 years is whenever, if you're at a point of struggling with anything, speak to your bank. It's very important that you speak to your bank as soon as possible. We appreciate over the pandemic the time it took for businesses to actually speak to the bank has been sort of perhaps extended beyond what we sort of consider appropriate. However, that was, I guess, on the back of the fact that a lot of businesses have struggled all at the same time, just because they faced into unprecedented times. But more recently, we've completely restructured, rethinked how we speak to our customers, and we've got a whole host of relationship managers who work on a one-to-one basis with our customers, and just almost be that kind of partner to their business, because it can be quite lonely running a business. So staying on top of your cash flow is one of the things they help our customers with, but especially for the new businesses who perhaps got questions. If you don't have time to speak to someone, there are plenty of resources to access. Including our website, Enterprise Nation, has got vast sort of amount of information about cash flow. They got some great tools in terms of templates for tracking your cash flow, and it's about taking advantage and investing that time right at the beginning in sort of research and finding out what's the best way in terms of running your marketing or running your kind of accountancy. Spending that time right at the beginning will benefit you 6, 12, 18 months down the line, and will put you in a much better position as a business, as opposed to keep on sort of having catch up, especially when your business gets off the ground, you get really busy, loads of orders, and you simply won't have time to do all that research. So try and do as much research as you can up front. Connect with advisors. There's plenty of advisors in Enterprise Nation's network as well, with covering some great topics. And only yesterday I was at another event with Enterprise Nation. There was a gentleman there who's an advisor on the sustainability topic. I believe Graham, I think was his name. So very inspirational. He's actually guided a local locksmith on how to make his business more sustainable. And again, it was actually just on the back of a conversation within Enterprise Nation platform. So make absolute use of Enterprise Nation platform, the advisors there, and like I said, speak to your bank. We are kind of often first point of call, and it's always easy to avoid any problems when you speak to us as soon as possible, as opposed to sort of waiting and hoping that things perhaps will improve. But that's what we're here for. A successful business is a great business for you, for the bank, for everyone. So we're here to help for any time. And I guess the final point is perhaps around mindset, is driving that growth mindset, and it's incredibly powerful to keep on pushing on. Things won't be easy. We know that. We've heard it from businesses. Things haven't always gone to plan, but it's taking that in your stride and seeking support when you have to. But I'm sure it will put you in a great stead if you invest that time right at the beginning, and it will pay off in the future.
Definitely. Wow, some incredible takeaways from today's session. And I'm just cautious of time and really upset that we're going to have to come to an end of today's session with the incredible Oskar and Jenny. And thank you both so much for joining us today here at the Food Exchange. And like I said, TSB is a very proud sponsor of the exchanges, but also across multiple programs that we run here at Enterprise Nation. We have pinned a link on the chat where you can sign up as a free member today. So make sure you do go and have a look so you can access all these incredible resources as well. But before we end today's session and jump on to our next, Jenny, I'd love to come to you and see if you've got any final words of wisdom, or maybe a bit of homework actually for our attendees over the bank holiday weekend, on what small actions can they start implementing starting today.
Well, I've got to do a shameless plug then, haven't I, really? So I would encourage you to look at the Good Business Charter, our streamlined version. It's all there on our website, and it shows you the 10 things. And if you're like, yeah, we do all these, then we would love to have you involved, accredited, able to put that on your website and be part of our community. Or you might think, oh, I haven't really thought of that area. So it gives you a good starting point to identify where there's a gap, and do get in touch if you need any support on making that a reality. We'd love to have many, many more small businesses join us.
Brilliant. Thank you again both so much. Big shout out to TSB as well. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us. There's great takeaways for our small business community on the line today. So we will be back in a few short minutes. Our next session, we will be focusing on how to use creativity to grow your community online. So we'll be touching on social media and how we can make it work organically for a food and drink business. So we'll be back. But another big thank you to Oskar and Jenny, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Super.
Thanks.